KTLA is proud to present the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade with your hosts, Bob Eubanks and Stephanie Edwards.
Well, there they are. Our first event is now rounding Orange Grove, heading down Colorado Boulevard for the 5.5-mile parade.
So far without a hitch. There was a time back in 1913 when they had an elephant and a camel racing down the parade route, and the elephant won. More amazing facts will be brought to your attention.
Where do you learn all of this stuff?
From your notes.
I see.
Now, in the meantime, you are listening to the All-District High School Honor Band. They are brass and percussion only, and as you've gotten just a little glimpse of already, not only were they playing 76 trombones, that's how many are marching. Wondering why do we have the parade on Monday? Well, I will tell you that many years ago, the Tournament of Roses Association made a deal with the churches here on Colorado Boulevard that they would not ever hold the parade on Sunday because it would scare the horses that were tied in front of the churches. So consequently, it's January the 2nd, and this is the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade. Started by 300 of the finest high school musicians in the Los Angeles area who come together for a brief period and sound as wonderful as this. Donald Dustin and Frank Harris, co-directors, really deserve our tremendous applause for this. And coming around the bend is the first of the floats that are decorated, if possible, more beautifully than ever this year.
Our first float is appropriately named All Aboard for Pasadena, and is from the city of Carson, California. This 1889 steam locomotive is an authentic replica of the train that came to Pasadena 100 years ago, just down the street at the Raymond Street Depot. Now, the passengers on this float include Kay Callis, the mayor of Carson, depicting a group on their way to see the very first Rose Parade. There's thousands of carnations and mums along with straw flowers and silverleaf that cover this year's City of Carson's entry. It's beautiful.
You heard the real whistle, a real train whistle there. There's a real bell on board. The train is absolutely accurate in scale. What a piece of work.
And it's from the city of Carson.
Do you know it takes an hour to put 1 square foot of flowers on a float? Then they glue them, which is what Isabella Coleman started. You'll hear a little more about her later. 1 hour to do 1 square foot of flowering.
Here's our friends, the Long Beach Mounted Police. This group of businessmen volunteer their time to ride in the most prestigious of all mounted police units, and they come to us all as far north as San Ynez to as far south as San Diego. And what a joy it is to watch them parade down Colorado Boulevard. And by the way, Marshal Jerry Rout of Rolling Hills Estates has added 4 new members to the group. They're the first ladies to ever ride with the Long Beach Mounted Police.
No.
And one of them happens to be Carla Rout, the marshal's wife.
Well, that's as it should be.
You think so, huh?
Right behind these folks, you know, and that's a precarious spot, I can tell you from an old trombonist point of view. These marvelous scouts who have won the opportunity to carry these flags are telling you that this is the sweepstakes trophy winner, which means it is the most beautiful float in the parade. Unical, celebrating with Mardi Gras, a float in 2 parts using 12 varieties of roses. The jester with the New Orleans Society Band, followed by a huge masked reveler whose headdress is 26 feet into the air and hands are 12 feet long and covered, by the way, in crushed ice. Incidentally, one of the 18
street performers is Art Aguirre, the designer of this float. There he is. Mardi Gras, which means Fat Tuesday in French, which we understand means a fat ox being paraded through the streets, and I don't think we'll go further into that
what?
one. Ox.
Oh.
This is held on Shrove Tuesday, the day before Lent begins.
Our congratulations to C.E. Bennett Company. They've done it. Most beautiful float, the sweepstakes trophy.
4,000 roses on the 26 balls on that float alone.
What a float, huh?
How do they get masks? Black masks? They do it with seaweed.
Well, it was 1939 that the youngest person ever chosen to be Grand Marshal took a ride down Colorado Boulevard. The 10-year-old was America's #1 box office star at the time. And now, 50 years later, she's our Grand Marshal again, Shirley Temple Black, accompanied by her 8-year-old granddaughter, Teresa Falaschi.
And her eldest daughter, Susan Falaschi, I think, is also scheduled to be there with them somewhere. They're riding in a princess carriage from the late 1800s.
What a grand way to start off 1989. Traveling down the route of this parade is one of the most exciting things anyone can be a part of. And to do it twice is something I can only wish for everyone. Happy New Year, and thank you for my own 50 years of Rose Parade memories.
And congratulations to you. I had the opportunity of meeting her yesterday. She's just a wonderful lady. Shirley Temple Black, former United Nations delegate, former chief of protocol at the White House, former ambassador to Ghana, and currently an honorary foreign service officer for the United States State Department. She's our Grand Marshal for this, the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade, Shirley Temple Black.
And what do you think the first parade anywhere was? Well, Lowry's Foods thinks it might have looked like this. A group of prehistoric folks leading a mom triceratops dinosaur and her reluctant baby. Mums and walnut shells took care of that one. The baby's spine is made of red carnation petals. Now, triceratops means three-horned face, and the horns protected these dinosaurs from meat-eating enemies because they only ate plants, of course. It's believed they were the last dinosaurs to have roamed the earth before becoming extinct. The reasons we're still not sure of. Nevertheless, because this is the Rose Parade, Mom is carrying a rose in her mouth. The yucca blooms on this piece include pincushion protea. And just a little tidbit here, Lowry's, when it opened 50 years ago, served a prime rib dinner for $1.25.
Oh.
Little Shirley
Oops,
Temple.
look out, somebody fell down.
Oh, well, that's probably as it should be.
Those
Rick and
cavemen are all
Nancy
alike.
Chapman's children there, they're doing a good job.
There's a saying that goes that give a girl a horse and you have a happy girl, and I know that's true with all the members of the Galloping Gossips, led by their Marshal Carolyn Ming of El Centro, California. These fine horsewomen are involved in something that's really very unique. They have a square dance team that performs on their horses. There's only one male member of the group, and that's the caller, Leonard Spear. They've been with us at the Tournament of Roses many times. It's nice to have them back. They are the Galloping Gossips, and they come to us all the way from El Centro, California.
You know, the floats seem more enormous to me this year. This is the Queen's Trophy winner for the most effective use of roses. You remember last year's parade when Grand Marshal Gregory Peck told about driving up with his family from La Jolla as a kid to watch the Rose Parade? Well, that story inspired this float that is covered in 60,000 red roses alone from Farmers Insurance, A Day to Remember.
It really is big. You should see that. I mean, what would it be like for a family to drive in the parade in 1928? Well, that was the year of the first Ford Model A Phaeton, and we have a 3 1/4 scale accurate reproduction of that car with us, except there's only one exception. They never made a 1928 red car. By the way, a new one cost $460.
This one cost a lot more.
You're not kidding. Riding in front is Julie Wallender of Billings, Montana. She's the Farmers Insurance Agent of the Year. This is a magnificent float. It won the Queen's Trophy, and it's called A Day to Remember from Farmers Insurance Group of Companies. It's monstrous. I can't believe how big it is.
And following behind is one of the Rose Parade's oldest traditions, the Salvation Army Tournament of Roses Band. It has performed in this parade for the past 69 years. It's 180 members strong this year, and they have some of their folks from all around the world marching today. 4 of them have participated in the last 30 parades, many more in the last 20. And there is one group of father, son, brother, sister, husband, wife.
Wow.
One family is represented by 10 members from 3 generations you saw in our pre-parade program here. They are just a magnificent group of musicians. just didn't make the opening of the parade. We'll tell you about that a little later, maybe.
Pacific Mutual and Pacific Financial Companies bring us Celebrating the Performing Arts, a parade within a parade. Now, they've recreated 1871 in Cairo, Egypt. Giuseppe Verdi has written an opera to celebrate the opening of the Suez Canal, and the opera is Aida. And here we see the processional scene.
A special computer was designed to move the head and the ears of that elephant. We salute the world of opera here with a panther, a tiger, elephants carrying Egyptian warriors and wearing ancient Egyptian costumes. Aida is aboard one of the elephants. Do I have time to tell you the entire story of Aida and sing a few bars
I
right
don't
now?
think so.
Oh, shoot, it's one of my favorite stories. The daughter of the king of Ethiopia, you see, is part of this story, being held as a slave to the princess of Egypt.
Well, the float designer Raul Rodriguez has magically used orchids and marigolds and mums and roses to decorate this beautiful float from Pacific Mutual Pacific Financial Companies entitled Celebrating the Performing Arts. Okay, Steph, it's time for your annual test now as we watch the entry from the American Donkey and Mule Society.
Certainly.
This group is led by Diane Hunter from South Pasadena. The American Donkey and Mule Society is the only breed registry for donkeys and mules in the world and has 3,000 members internationally. Now, you want to tell me, how do we get a mule? Do you know?
Very carefully.
Okay, a mule is the offspring of a female horse and a male donkey. Now, the offspring of a male horse and a female donkey is?
A mule.
No, a hinny.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, we're moving sprightly along, however. I wasn't listening to him, folks, so that's the story. But here is the City of Sierra Madre's Rose Float Association presenting a celestial celebration, the 100th anniversary of the Mount Wilson Observatory. At the front of the float, an early astronomer tries to convince his mule to carry a telescope up the mountain, you see. The back features the present observatory, named after Benjamin Wilson, the second mayor of Los Angeles.
Now, halfway up the trail, the Sierra Madre's own mountain man, Ambrose Zarro. Ambrose is 84 years old, and he's known as Mount Wilson's Mountain Man. This wonderful human being keeps the trail open, and he gets paid nothing for doing it. The first telescope was placed on the mountain by Harvard University in 1889, and there it is. We're going to show you. There it is from our helicopter, a live shot of the real Mount Wilson Observatory about 10 miles away.
We're so fortunate to have all of this. Now, the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association is proud to feature the Royal Court, the 71st Rose Queen and her royal princesses. Let's meet them.
Good morning, Bob and Stephanie. I'm Charmaine Beth Shrya, the 71st Rose Queen. Thank you for spending part of your New Year's holiday with us. As a resident of Pasadena, it's an honor to be a part of one of America's great traditions on its 100th birthday. I'd like you to meet the rest of the Royal Court, who will be with me today.
I'm Lacey Kioe Endo from South Pasadena.
Kristen Elizabeth Hansen from Arcadia.
Raquel Ann Black from Pasadena.
Heidi Griffith Marsh from San Marino.
Carolyn Beach from Pasadena.
And Tamara Lee of Altadena. Happy New Year!
Thank you to the Royal Court on their way, of course, to being part of the Rose Bowl festivities this afternoon.
Okay, listen up, everyone. Here's the Pasadena Area Community College District Honor Band. This is the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade, and this is the Pasadena Area Community College District Honor Band.
More than 500 students auditioned for the 150 available positions. They couldn't make decisions, and they made it a bigger band. It is magnificent, and you recognize the fellow who's leading them. He's been here before. Dargent Springfield is fantastic. What a guy.
Their 60th appearance in the Tournament of Roses Parade, Pasadena Area Community College District Honor Band.
They've been marching 7 miles every day to look as tight as they do here, and yet still in the excitement of the morning, it would be easy to mess up badly, and they're looking pretty hot. Good grief, they go on forever. Wait till you see all of the girls behind them. is the theme trophy winner, the most fitting presentation of the parade theme. And that is, of course, celebrating the 100th anniversary. This is from Eastman Kodak. A Rose Queen is Forever, featuring 42 former Rose Queens dating back to 1930. The ladies are traveling in an elegant coach drawn by a team of matched black Frisian horses, traditionally used to pull the royal coaches throughout history. The earliest queen with us today is Holly Balthus from 1930. There she is on the left, and the most recent, Julie Myers, last year's queen of the parade. This float, using 12,000 roses alone, was decorated by a group from the National Center on Deafness in Northridge, as well as by the former Rose Queens themselves. So they did return to the tradition of kind of pulling your own load in order to be part of the festivities.
There's the lady.
12,000 roses on the float, and that huge crown is covered with silver leaf and vanda petals with white carnation petals and lunaria, and we're talking about gluing on a petal at a time, folks.
Isn't that fun? And our congratulations to Eastman Kodak Company for winning the theme trophy. And here's the entry from the International Andalusian Association, led by their marshal Pat Garrison from Thousand Oaks, California. And this beautiful horse comes from Spain. There's only about 1,500 purebred Andalusians in Spain and about 1,200 in the United States. As you can see, he has enormous presence, great agility, but a very friendly and docile temperament. When they're born, they're usually black or dark gray, and then as they get older, they most of the time become very white, but they're just beautiful. Probably one of the most expensive pleasure horses in the world. It's always fun to watch the magnificent Andalusians. By the way, Leslie Charleston is one of the writers in this group who plays Dr. Tremaine on television's General Hospital.
Now here's another float. We wouldn't know what to do without them. The Lutheran Layman's League presents the words of the Apostle John, chapter 20, verse 31, which read, "Rejoice, Jesus is the Christ." Two herald angels announced the words of John. The detail on the angels and the coloring were taken from Renaissance period paintings. It's a beautiful float this year. The designer is Craig Gibbons. He said he tried to come up with an idea that would symbolize a sign of celebration to all the world's religions. The Lutheran Layman's League has 160,000 members, and this float was decorated by their group called Petal Pushers, P-E-T-A-L. There are over 2,000 of them. They come from Pasadena and all over the West to decorate this and 5 other floats.
It comes to us from the Lutheran Layman's League.
From Strongsville, Ohio, the Strongsville High School Marching Mustangs. This band is playing a special composition called the Centennial Rose Parade March, written for them by former U.S. Marine Corps band arranger Tom Knox. They're the first band ever to represent Greater Cleveland in the Rose Parade. We're thrilled they're here.
You know, we can all use a laugh each day, and today the Sheraton Corporation has for us the International Celebration of Laughter. Like it's a giant clown as he provides the music, and 14 other clowns provide the entertainment. This float is decorated with flowers from the 64 different countries where Sheraton has hotels. The 14 clowns that you see on this float were selected in an amateur clown competition, and this is Sheraton's first entry in the Rose Parade, and they've done a magnificent job with it. It's called the International Celebration of Laughter from the Sheraton Corporation.
You may see some of 200 pounds of confetti carried within that float that may be blown out one of the horns as they go down the parade route. There's a person inside the float feeding the confetti into the air, and there's a blower there that pushes the confetti out onto the street.
Every once in a while I see a few little pieces of confetti come out of there.
Yeah, they may be
Maybe they're saving it.
Boy, the color is just phenomenal. I hope you can see the vibrance of that. This is the Freddie Lee Miller Arabian group. They are the first horse ever. Bob tells me that. All other horses descend from them. They're known for intelligence and versatility, which is what Bob is known for. And their major attribute is endurance, which I'm known for.
Yes. From the city of Alhambra, the adoptive cities of Alhambra, California, and Mobile, Alabama combined to bring us Carnival Mobile style. Riding the float are America's Junior Miss Kristen Logan and Baseball Hall of Famer Billy Williams, both of Mobile, and broadcasting live right now on KRLA Radio is my old buddy Charlie Tuna. Charlie, Happy New Year to you. Why don't you describe your float to us, will you?
What's to describe here, Bob? You never see me in a skirt like this. Bill Donahue and I are doing this. Stephanie, stop laughing. I'll tell her I saw you in a supermarket last night. No, this is an incredible float. City of Alhambra float. And I got lucky enough to ride in the 1970 Rose Parade, but this is just an amazing. It's tragedy and comedy and the Mardi Gras Festival. Alhambra and the city of Mobile have teamed up for this. And Mobile actually started the whole Mardi Gras celebration. So, Bob, by the way, we've got to have you come back and celebrate 30 years of KRLA with us in the Labor Day weekend, all right?
I would love to do it. I spent many years at KRLA, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to both of you up there.
Love you, Charlie. Thank you.
Thanks, Carnival Mobile style from the city of Alhambra and the city of Mobile, Alabama.
And now, in an 1878 English carriage along with his wife, daughter, son, and daughter-in-law is the 1989 Tournament of Roses president, John H. Bigger III.
Thanks, Bob and Stephanie. It's my pleasure to represent all of the people who put together the 100th Tournament of Roses parade. First, we hope all of you viewing on Channel 5 will enjoy our efforts, which have been going on for the past year. And second, all of us wish that 1989 is the best year ever for you and your family.
They're riding in a Panel Boot Victorial vis-a-vis. I wouldn't have known that.
And now, marching down Colorado Boulevard, the Owasso High School Pride of Owasso Marching Band from, you guessed it, Owasso, Oklahoma.
You bet.
Under the direction of Harlan and Willetta Lampkin. The Lampkins have been co-directors of this band for 16 years.
This is the Governor's Trophy winner for the most outstanding entry by a city. Santa Ana, California celebrates our spirit with a giant fireworks celebration. We can see pinwheels, rockets, and skybursts there. The fireworks sounds in this float you hear will be muffled so that the horses nearby will not be upset. I think they're so muffled that we can't hear them.
I'm not upset, are you?
No, and I love that they did that. It's so beautiful visual, we don't need to hear the fireworks. Designed by Jim Barrowman, who worked with Isabella Coleman, whom you'll hear about in the Long Beach float just in a moment. She is one of the innovators of many of the things that were never done before she began designing floats.
Here's another Andalusian group, only this time they're representing the Medieval Times Dinner and Tournament in Buena Park, California. This group is led by Andres Gelabert of Buena Park, and they remind us of some of the history of this great horse. The Spanish conquistadors used Andalusians to conquer a great part of North and South America. In fact, the blood of the Andalusian lives on in such American horses as the quarter horse and the Appaloosa. I understand it's quite an evening of fun dining, too, at the Medieval Times Dinner and Tournament in Buena Park.
You don't use silverware, I can tell you that.
They eat with your hands, don't you? They have
kind of like at my house.
Watch these horses. The wonderful presence of these Andalusian horses.
Now, are they happy doing that?
Oh, they're very happy.
This is the city of Long Beach taking us back with Those Were the Days, a tribute by Ben Lovejoy of Festival Artists to one of the Rose Parade's most distinguished float builders, the late Isabella Coleman. This is designed in the manner she did. She would design and decorate floats for the city of Long Beach, her first in 1910, her last in 1973 when she was 81. Now, her trademark is what you're seeing right here, flowers on flowers. The shading is her touch. Aboard the float is Miss Long Beach and her royal court, wearing swimsuits of the 1950s period, I'm told. I'm a little suspicious of that.
Things have gotten better, I'll tell you that.
Yes. The outwalkers, which was also a tradition started by Isabella in the 30s. People on the outside of the float are wearing togas, of course. And the floral cascades in the back, which you'll see in a moment, are another Coleman innovation. They become known among float builders by the scientific term dinkle-dangles.
I thought they were talking about us.
No. Isabella's first floats were buggies and then milk trucks, and she just couldn't stop. She started with gunny sacks and plaster. Well, anyway, the float judged unique in the parade is given the Isabella Coleman Award. This one didn't win it, but it has won tremendous applause from the crowd.
It's a grand day for a parade, but it's also a football day. And here comes the float from the Big Ten Conference, this giant shake-over musician's hat, and on board cheerleaders from the University of Michigan, and they're on their way to the Rose Bowl. Listen to the crowd. There's the Rose Bowl. By the way, the original Rose Bowl, you know how much it cost to build? $276,000. Can you believe it? Well, today is Michigan's 13th Rose Bowl visit. They played in the very first Rose Bowl game in 1902, beating Stanford 49-0. The Big Ten schools include, beside Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Ohio State, Purdue, Northwestern, Minnesota, Indiana, Iowa, and Michigan State. And the Pac-10 gets equal time a little later on, but right now, here comes their band.
These are the Wolverines, directed by Eric Becker. They are fabulous.
They're just glad to get out of the cold. That's it.
The Wolverines have always been known as one of the best college bands in America. Lots of Michigan people in the audience. You can hear them singing. Would you think these kids are suffering from jet lag?
All right. It's going to be a long day for them. 5.5 miles down Colorado Boulevard, and then, of course, the Rose Bowl game.
The sun is just beginning to dip into the other side of the grandstands right beneath our booth here, and not a moment too soon. However, we've taken our coats off, I think, earlier than in any parade we've done together. It's a beautiful day.
The Big Ten Conference. All right, here's a group with a lot of history. It's the entry from the Valley Hunt Club, led by their marshal, Loris Phillips. This group had an entry in the first Rose Parade 100 years ago, and today it features 2 carriages, one a park drag coach, in which club president William Rahn rides, and a 2-wheel carriage similar to the one featured in the first Rose Parade. Also, to remind us of what a Rose Parade might have consisted of 100 years ago, we see outriders on their vintage bicycles loaned by the Heritage Cycles. It's kind of fun to look back at the Rose Parade 100 years ago, and we want to thank our friends from the Valley Hunt Club for bringing us that memory and reminder.
And here's the first for any parade, folks. The Huntington Hotel right here in Pasadena presents Romance in California, and what better way to celebrate than with a real-life wedding. Carrie Humphreys, a junior at Cal State University in Long Beach, and her groom, they've just been married, Ron Sims. He was graduated from Cal State University in Long Beach, too. They have just said, I do, and the man marrying them is her grandfather.
How about that?
They wrote a winning essay in the hotel's contest to choose the most romantic couple in Southern California.
Well, the wedding is seen by over 350 million people. Think of all the thank you notes they have to send. That's second only to the wedding of Prince Charles to Princess Di. The couple received $50,000 in prizes, including a honeymoon in France. And this float celebrates 80 years of weddings held at the Huntington Hotel. And the gazebo you see is the actual one from the hotel that has framed thousands of weddings. So good luck to the happy couple. The contest was sponsored by the Huntington Hotel, K-Light Radio, Southern California Bride Magazine, and Bullocks.
That's amazing.
I wonder if they'll still be married by the time they get to...
Now listen to this. This is from Yokohama, Kanagawa, Japan, folks. The city of Yokohama is sharing its centennial with our Tournament of Roses. 150 members of this marching band have decided to commemorate their own centennial by coming here, and they are the All-Japan Band Sweepstakes winner.
アメリカの皆さん、明けましておめでとうございます。私は関東学院マーチングバンドのリーダーの石井実です。この度は第100回ローズパレードに参加、大変光栄に思います。
Bob Eubanks and Stephanie Edwards, the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade on KTLA Channel 5, reminding you, if you've got the 3D glasses, you can watch our parade in 3D. And if you have stereo television, naturally we are in stereo too.
Lake Avenue.
Now who's this?
Rotary International brings us a giant storyteller making childhood dreams come true with some of our young people's favorite fairy tale characters. And let's see if we can spot them. Little Bo Peep and her 3 little sheep, naturally.
Oh my goodness, they're pirouetting.
The 3 little pigs are on this float too, walking on the outside of this float. There's Hansel and Gretel in their gingerbread house.
Of course. The garden of that gingerbread house is made of cabbage and carrot tops, folks.
Well, the people inside the costumes are from the Arcadia High School Dance Club, and this is one of 5 floats in today's parade, which were badly damaged, by the way, in the December 8th windstorm.
Isn't that something that they have pulled this together again?
See, that was the windstorm. That's what some of them looked like that morning, and it's a tribute to everyone who worked so hard and so long to repair them.
Oh.
I mean, the wind really did set them back a few days.
Oh, now a 24-foot-high storyteller.
Rotary International, founded in 1905 as a worldwide club which provides humanitarian services, making childhood dreams come true. And a big wink for you and Hansel and Gretel, too.
Lots of carnations and marigolds and zillions of orchids. And now riding in an 1860s carriage along with his wife, daughter, and sons is the mayor of Pasadena, William E. Thompson, Jr.
Thanks, Stephanie and Bob. This is Pasadena's proudest day of the year, and we're glad that you can share it with us on KTLA. The only problem we have is how to top today's event next year. Thank you for joining the 135,000 people who call Pasadena home. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year to you too, Mayor.
Now, these folks coming along here are not supposed to be there, are they?
No, they're not.
Well, how dare they?
I just want to know who they are.
This is
I know who they are.
Do you?
Yes, this is the Huntington High School Blue Devil Marching Band from Huntington, New York. About
you
3
are
places.
Sharp, fella.
It's really a scare to look up and you expect to see a float and there's a band standing there.
Well, tell us more about these folks.
All right, they're under the direction of Linda L. Shoemaker. She proudly leads the 200-member Huntington High School Blue Devil Marching Band in its 2nd Rose Parade appearance. And we have some time to listen to this great band. They're all the way from New York, so here they are.
International will sponsor a float you're about to see called In Pursuit of World Peace, a giant eagle turning into stylized American flag with a rotating globe surrounded by an olive branch. You see doves ascending from the float. Aboard it are Mrs. America, Jennifer Klein of Minnesota, and Mrs. World, Pamela Nail of Mississippi.
There's over 200 white birds will be released, and there go some of them right now during the float's journey down the boulevards of Pasadena. There's over 22,000 red carnations on this beautiful float. The magnificent eagle is covered with pampas grass and mums and all sorts of leaves. And there is Mrs. America.
I met her the other day. She is just a lovely person. In fact, she comes from Minnesota, of course, is a pure coincidence.
Hey, look what's here. These are my favorite little guys, Steph.
Miniature horse group, the marshal of for whom is George Shutt of Glendora. Miniatures are not ponies. They're true horses that have been bred down in size. Since the 17th century, they were often pets of European royalty, hence the costume there. And they were first brought to the U.S. in the late 1800s for use in mining. You can't be taller than 34 inches to be one of those little horses. Let me see if I can tell you who those little peeps are.
Aren't they cute, these little guys? There's a ranch up in the Santa Ynez Valley, and they have all the little miniature horses. When you drive by, in the wintertime, they all have blankets on. It looks so funny.
Darling. Yes, in the carriage are Heather and Jennifer Shutt of Glendora. They are related, obviously, to George, who is the marshal of this group.
The International Trophy, most beautiful entry from outside the territorial limits of the United States of America. And it goes to China Airlines. Chinese Lantern Festival, a giant guardian lion surrounded by lanterns and parasols. And in front of the float, with his ever-present macaw Roxy, is designer extraordinaire Raul Rodriguez. There he is.
Boy,
He's designed this float for float masters. It's amazing what they've done with the flowers in this float. There are 10,000 Nora roses with 2,000 Cattleya orchids, and the lion is covered with 40,000 white carnations, mums, and straw flowers. And also riding on this float are members of a Chinese opera group from Taipei. The guardian lion is the symbol of good luck in Chinese legend, and the Lantern Festival marks the end of the 15-day Chinese New Year season. By the way, this is the year of the Chinese dragon, and February the 6th, the year of the snake. 4,687 will begin.
Pardon me for sniffling, folks. When it's a good parade, I sniffle from both the nostrils. This is called A Time to Remember, the theme of the float from Downey, California. They're celebrating the past of the Rose Parade with an 1889 Cinderella-type carriage that then transforms into a float of today, a Mardi Gras mask. It's the first float that is actually two floats in one. It takes about 20 seconds for the change to happen. We see it moving right now. One is descending, one is ascending. My goodness. The maypole will come up to a height of 28 feet later on down the parade.
Here's a group of silver-mounted riders led by Southern California television personality George Putnam, who, by the way, is making his 35th Rose Parade appearance. And also in this group is the famous Bus Carson from North Hollywood. Yeah, along with John Church and Bill Note. And most of the equestrians are riding their Edward H. Bolin saddles, these beautiful silver-mounted saddles.
Well, Chrysler Corporation brings us this. It's called Quest for Knowledge, a float that celebrates the advancement of humankind through education. The figure of Pegasus, that marvelous horse, rising from the center of the float, carries ancient and modern tools of knowledge. We move from the space age in the front, you see, to the cradle of civilization on the back of the float.
It's a gorgeous float.
You know about Pegasus, of course, the winged horse in Greek mythology. Have I time to tell you the entire
I don't think so. Maybe we can sing Aida a little later on. Raul Rodriguez designed this one also. He's having quite a year.
10,000 white carnations, mums, and some straw flower in there. Mercy.
Just a beautiful float from the Chrysler Corporation.
Lots of sweet rice.
All right, equal time for the other representative in this afternoon's Rose Bowl game. You can hear the crowd, the float from the Pac-10 Conference, a huge Rose Bowl trophy which USC hopes to win today. The original trophy, incidentally, is in the tournament house here in Pasadena, and aboard the float, cheerleaders from USC. This will be USC's 26th appearance in the Rose Bowl game, a record. The Pac-10 teams are UCLA, Washington, Washington State, Oregon, Oregon State, Arizona, Arizona State, Stanford, California, and USC. To the Rose Bowl today.
And riding behind them, you'll meet him in a moment. I just want to get you ready for him, is Richard Sacco, who we know as Tommy Trojan. There you see him on Traveler. That marvelous horse who is the mascot for USC teams. Richard Sacco is going to be retiring from his official position on Traveler this year. We're thrilled to have him in the parade with us, and his children will carry on the tradition.
There we are. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Bob Eubanks.
You look pretty perky.
I'm a perky guy.
We've got our coats off. Can you believe that rain was predicted at one time for this? Well, it's a glorious day. In fact, it's so sunny that we're squinting up here. The sun is just beginning to reach those who are sitting below us in the grandstands, and people are thrilled at the University of Southern California Band under the direction of Dr. Arthur Barker. If I had another life to live, I think it would be as a member of the SC Band. I'd rather play something other than the trombone this time.
I would want to be Tommy Trojan.
Well, that wouldn't be a bad second, I'll tell you.
Besides the Rose Parade itself, also celebrating 100 years this year, is the City of Los Angeles Recreation and Parks Department. The city salutes that anniversary with this float, which has floral replicas of our famous landmarks located in LA City Park. First, of course, the Rose Garden at Exposition Park. There's a merry-go-round representing all city parks. This giant koala with baby koala. Our giant cockatoos are on the float also, all representing the Griffith Park Zoo.
Did you know that the Bird of Paradise plant is the official flower of the city of Los Angeles?
I did not.
Beautifully depicted there, and everyone on board this float either works for the Department of Recreation and Parks or has parents who do. LA City is the oldest sponsor of this parade. In fact, I think they were the ones who bailed out one of the early parades with $550.
Here's a piece of history. It's the U.S. Army Ceremonial Unit B Troop, 4th Cavalry from Fort Huachuca, Arizona. This group promotes the heritage and tradition of the United States Army during the 1800s. The original group was involved in some of the famous Indian wars during that era, and they're led today by their Marshal Robert Phillips. And this group devotes between 20 and 40 hours a week.
Now, it actually happened in the late 1920s. A barnstorming pilot flew his plane under the Colorado Street Bridge just down the street, and Arco brings back those days of flying by the seat of your pants with barnstorming. There are live pilots in these planes. They're actually controlling the motion of the planes from the cockpit. 25,000 roses in this flight. 2 wing walkers in front and back. The planes are making 2 revolutions 55 feet in the air, and in front we see a man advertising an air show as an angry farmer yells at him. Shocked animals wondering what the heck is going on. Wow, this gal who is doing the stunt on top of that back plane has got to have the courage I wasn't born with. Paula Moody and Lori Ross are the ones who have that courage. How thrilling.
Merrill Lynch and Company offers us a tribute to the bicentennial of the United States Constitution called Celebrating a Tradition of Trust. In front, a fife and drum, the spirit of 76. And in the middle is the Liberty Bell, which is actually in Philadelphia. Back, our Constitution, which will be 102 years old this year, and is at the National Archives building in Washington, D.C. Now, what do you cover a Liberty Bell with? Well, yellow straw flower, clover seed, and silver leaf, but you have to be very careful that you don't cover up the crack. The music you're hearing was recorded by the Freedom High School Marching Band from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, who, by the way, will be appearing live in just a moment right behind the float. And this is Merrill Lynch's first Rose Parade entry, and we welcome them to our 100th Tournament of Roses
Isn't
Parade.
that beautiful?
Beautiful float, yes.
And the script, the words across the back are quite an inspiring touch.
Celebrating a tradition of trust from Merrill Lynch and Company.
You know about the drivers, of course, in these floats. Most of them have to lie down or take some sort of unfamiliar position there in order to get the float down the street, and they're doing a beautiful job. This is the Isabella Coleman Trophy winner for most unusual, the unique entry in the parade. GTE with the Harmony of Nature's Network. 12 giant butterflies. Chinese ducks. A pheasant. And a spider in this magnificent forest scene. The float portrays that nature is timeless, you see, and that the communication and the interaction between nature's creatures and plant life is also timeless and perfectly balanced. When judging the floats this morning, the judges could actually walk into the forest area, walk around in the middle of this float, and I think that impressed them. Isabella Coleman Trophy for the unique float in the parade.
One of my favorite equestrian units, the American Morgan Horse Association. This was America's first breed of horse, established way back in 1789 by a young veterinarian by the name of Justin Morgan. And this little horse, well, he was used in establishing other breeds, such as the standardbred, the American saddlebred, and the quarter horse. It's a wonderful pleasure horse, has a great temperament, and can do a lot of things. It's also a very beautiful horse, the American Morgan horse.
You see here a float from the city of Duarte and the City of Hope National Medical Center, also located in Duarte. It's called Celebration of a New Life. It features a baby chick breaking out of its shell, children who were chosen by a drawing, all from Duarte. You know about the City of Hope, of course. Their National Medical Center is known around the world.
I certainly do. It was founded in 1913. It was founded in 2 tents located in Duarte. It has since emerged as one of the most important healthcare delivery and research facilities in the entire world. From the city of Duarte, California, City of Hope, National Medical Center, celebration of new life.
From Carrollton, Georgia, here are the Carrollton High School Marching Trojan Band. This band is marching with, in their minds, a member of the organization named Scott Kaufman, who lost the use of his legs last year in an auto accident. We understand that he may be with them on this trip. So they have that added information in their minds to pack so much feeling into what they're doing. There he is. Oh my gosh. This is thrilling. Oh, it's thrilling, isn't it? The efforts that that are made by these bands to get here and their parents and their cities. Well, this is the Carrollton High School Marching Trojan Band of Carrollton, Georgia. Director Donald Hall, very proud to have them here.
Here's the tournament special trophy, exceptional merit not recognized in any other category. In these past few months, we've been hearing a lot about whales, and SeaWorld brings us Jump for Joy, featuring 1 killer whale and 3 dolphins. These animals are 1.5 life size, and this float celebrates SeaWorld's 25th anniversary. Below the waterline are 3 rockhopper penguins, 2 California sea lions, a walrus, and a sea otter. More than 40 bottlenose dolphins have been born at SeaWorld parks, and in September, baby Shamu arrived. A killer whale calf was born in San Diego. And incidentally, Steph, the gestation period of a killer whale, I looked this up, is 17 months. And for Mama, that must be a real killer.
She's real grateful when the baby comes, and we saw that happen on television. It was thrilling. How do you get a black and white whale to look so wonderful?
Well, what you do is you cover it with onion seed and sweet rice. Our Shamu today is equipped with a special nozzle that causes a mist to rise from his blowhole, and then 2 large hydraulic cylinders create the lifelike movement.
Oh, I'm glad it's all working. You know this fellow is Iron Eyes Cody, of course. This is an Indian group that he leads every year with us. And Linda K. Lupi, a White Mountain Apache, is Miss Indian America 1988. She is with them as well. By the way, Bob was the host yesterday at the Equestrian Center for the 2nd annual Tournament Equestrian Festival, featuring many of the units in today's parade. Did you have fun?
Had a good time, certainly did. Now, Singapore Airlines and the Singapore Tourist Promotion Board combined to sponsor Singapore Celebrates the Year of the Dragon. And here, as you can see, a huge dragon clutching a pearl. The pearl is said to control the course of birth, death, and rebirth. And our dragon, covered with flowers such as glads and bells of Ireland and whole red, dark orange, and light orange carnations, is the symbol of good fortune. In back is a pagoda made of bamboo, eucalyptus, and green tea leaves. And there's some 2,000 magenta cattleya orchids on this float.
Magenta, huh?
Yep.
Aboard the float is Miss Singapore Tourism and 2 Singapore Airlines flight attendants. Yes, it's the Singapore girls you see in the commercials. This is the Year of the Dragon. Will end in February, not return for 12 years.
From CE Bent, Singapore Airlines and Singapore Tourists, as they give us Singapore celebrates the Year of the Dragon.
And a dragon, actually, that is designed by Craig Gibbons, taken from 12 different Chinese art pieces.
Hey, you talk about a trooper. Here's my buddy Monty Montana.
Yes.
Monty has pneumonia, folks. Can you believe this? And he's here today with his wife, Marilee, and Trudy Young of Canyon Country. Also riding in this group is Miss Rodeo America. What can you say about Monty Montana?
Well, now, should he be here?
Well,
I'm worried for him.
But this is his 55th Rose Parade appearance, and he truly is an American tradition, has been part of our lives of children and adults throughout America for so many years.
This is the float from the Oddfellows and Rebecca's, presenting their entry 100 Years of Floral Excellence, depicting celebrations around the world, most of which have been featured in previous Rose Parades. 2 doves with garlands in their mouths made of the official Tournament of Roses rose, the only float carrying this flower, lifting a giant quilt on which are various celebrations depicted. In the back, 4 youth group members are symbolically decorating the quilt, most of its patterns taken from the mid-1700s, and among the 50 vignettes are celebrations of Valentine's Day and Easter, Memorial Day, Cinco de Mayo. You know all about the Oddfellows, a fraternal, benevolent order founded in England in 1700. And the Rebecca Lodges, of course, are for the women members of this group, altogether 2 million strong in the United States. Craig Gibbons did this float, too, and it's very beautiful, very delicate, and it is working wonderfully.
Here's the Humor Trophy winner. Best display of humor, and it comes to us from La Quinata Flint Ridge, their Tournament of Roses Association. This is called The Party's Just Begun. Now, the kitten and some mice are playing with some New Year's goodies. We can see them. This is wonderful. Watch them now.
Yeah, if it weren't moving right, it wouldn't have won this trophy. The humor really does come from the way it's moving.
The mouse blows a party horn at the cat. And look in the back there. There's the teeth, the cat tail. Isn't that fun? It's the Humor Trophy. Best display of humor comes to us from La Quinata Flint Ridge, their Tournament of Roses Association. 50,000 people hours were involved in preparing this float. If a professional float builder were to build this float, it would cost about $150,000, but they did it for some $45,000 for that, which I think is really interesting.
This was the little boy who submitted the design.
The original design for this float was submitted by an 8-year-old. His name is Grant Van Severland of Lackawanna Flintridge. It's an idea that he based on his own cat. And Grant is taping the parade coverage and sending it to his grandparents in Holland, but he's in our stands today watching. I bet he's a very proud guy. He won the Humor Trophy. Congratulations.
Grandparents in Holland, I guess they know their way around flowers. That's wonderful. This is the Swirling Sands Mounted Drill Team. Marion Hall is the Grand Marshal from 29 Palms, California. Mixed horses in Western attire. The riders are in Western attire. Do you call that Western attire?
I guess so.
These days.
Well, from Burbank Tournament of Roses Association, the Unforgettable Picnic. It's a New Year's Day picnic with a family of bears. Unfortunately, things are not going so well, though. Papa Bear gets tangled in his own fishing line. Mama Bear, she's battling ants. Junior climbs a tree to get some honey, but is surprised by an angry squirrel. Grandpa has a honeybee flying around his nose, and, well, Baby Bear takes a ride in the car while her brothers try to stop her. The back two bears are kissing.
Good grief. This was decorated by over 100 volunteers from the city of Burbank. They began working on this float, guess when? Last February.
No.
12,000 roses alone on this float, lots of cocoa palm on the bears, and they're not the only one having ant problems. I heard on the radio this morning that California is in general because of the cold weather. Ants are coming into the house.
You have a couple of ants visiting you this year.
Always.
The lady with more relatives than anybody I've ever heard of. From Duncanville, Texas.
Right now.
The Duncanville High School Marching Band. I'm going to tell you about this band if I can. This band raised $52,000 for the trip to Pasadena by raffling off one little compact car.
I love it. They're the largest band in the parade this year. They're enormous.
Let's watch and listen to them. Duncanville High School Marching Band from Duncanville, Texas. That's where we are, folks. Boy, you should climb those steps.
This is the Founders Trophy winner for the most outstanding entry in the self-built classification. Cal Poly, always a favorite. The universities at Pomona and San Luis Obispo get together around Thanksgiving and bring us two parts of one float. It's called Parading Around. They've traditionally been most technically innovative. This year, no exception.
There goes the
young
water.
girl in front was pedaling her bike. The drum is beating, the triangle and the cymbals move. The dog is howling. The cats play with a bell. And the cat in back is lunging to grab the cans. You see how it all works together.
You can hear the crowd.
Tremendous animation.
Directly across from us, all the Cal Poly people usually sit at. If tradition holds up, as they go by here, the float will empty some water right on the members of Cal Poly.
Look at how that knee works. There's a primary computer inside the float, plus a backup unit that runs all the animation. 8 people inside the float, 2 drivers, 6 people to oversee the animation. It's a total student effort, including growing their own flowers and doing their own fundraising.
A double entry from the city of St. Louis, Missouri. The time it began, the time to celebrate. The first part of this float is an authentic 1890s carriage drawn by 2 horses carrying the former mayor of Pasadena, Warren Dorn, and his wife. The second part is a spectacular coach, inspired by a 17th century mail coach and pulled by the world-famous Clydesdale horses. And on this float is Bert Jones and his Dixieland band. There they are.
I'm glad they stopped.
Oh, look, and there he is. His name is Bud, by the way. What else?
Well,
Clydesdales have been representing Anheuser-Busch for some 55 years. And also on the float are members of the Busch family, too. The city of Glendale, California announces that it is a great place to celebrate. Young people on a roller coaster. Giant carousel horses. And beneath all of this, bumper cars. See if we can get the roller coaster to work. Is it working? The roller coaster was supposed to go over the top of the float and then go back and forth. But it's a beautiful float. It's from the city of Glendale. It's called A Great Place to Celebrate.
Well, it runs by a separate motor. It's on a track, actually, and it's supposed to reverse itself, reaching a height of 25 feet, so maybe they're just resting.
Just didn't happen for it. It's an absolutely outstanding effort.
Beautifully done. And now, a big welcome to our neighbors to the north. From Meaford, Ontario, Canada, the Ontario Masked Legion Pipes and Drums. This band usually travels with several hundred supporters, and I don't wonder why. Traditional pipes, the best, from Ontario, Canada.
Oh, and wait till you see what's coming. It's ski season in Southern California, so why not go skiing during the Rose Parade? This is going to be wonderful. Casablanca Fan Company brings us Americans rootin' and a tootin'. It's wintertime in a mining town where some of the locals are demonstrating the art of freestyle skiing as they will somersault over Boot Hill and land in their favorite watering hole. Let's see if we can watch them do it.
Boy, this is the longest float in the parade and the longest one ever, and they made it around the corner without a hitch. 105 feet comes from the Winter Olympics in Canada. The platform is 43 feet high. The skiers are 6 men and 2 women, members of the Stuntmen's Association.
Here they go.
Oh, they had to get special permission from the tournament because the ski slide is not covered with flowers.
Here he goes.
Do you hear the crowd? Here we go again. They practiced for the day at Lake Tahoe. Here we go.
Isn't that something? I want you to meet one of my childhood idols. His name is Stuart Hamlin. He leads his family on their beautiful Peruvian Paso horses. And Stuart is a storyteller. There he is. He's a songwriter. He wrote This Whole House. He has a syndicated show called The Cowboy Church, and he's riding these beautiful Peruvian Paso horses. That's a natural gait. All purebred Peruvians are born with that natural gait. And they were bred by the Peruvian ranchers to cover many miles in a day. From Stuart Hamlin and family, the Peruvian Pasos.
This is from Burger King. Their corporation reminds us its float theme that education is the solution. And to illustrate that point, we see Graduation Day from Merlin the Magician's School of Knowledge. Merlin's at the front gate. An educated dragon who's just gotten a diploma is there. And we see the dragon is quite adept at tail rolling. You'll notice that in a moment. Now, on this float, there's a new way to decorate it. They blew the seeds onto the float from an acoustic ceiling sprayer, and now it works so well, everybody's doing it. It's the first time that's been tried. It's called a hopper, an acoustic ceiling sprayer, so they can get a lot more done in a hurry. The gray of the castle walls was first done with that hopper, and it was working beautifully.
Linda Baum of Arcadia, California is the marshal of this equestrian group. And by the way, one of the riders, Debbie Davis, is head of the KTLA art department, so we want to salute her. Western riders helping us celebrate the 100th anniversary of this, our Tournament of Roses parade. Oh.
This, folks, is the tallest float ever. The giraffe raises higher than I can even imagine, 70 feet high. We said it was going to be full of record breakers, and this is one of them. It's won the Mayor's Trophy for the best display of originality. The Carnation Company brings us the tallest show on earth, a 70-foot-high roller skating giraffe, and suspended from its mouth, you'll notice, are 2 acrobats. Good grief. Behind them, a giant calliope with more.
Look how high she is in the air. That's amazing.
5,000 marigolds on the float, 100,000 mums.
And for those of you who do not live in Southern California, down the parade route at Sierra Madre Boulevard, there's a bridge. So all of these floats have to be designed in such a way that they can actually be lowered down to go under that bridge. So it's a real problem for some of the designers. This is amazing. It's 70 feet high. Look out, guys.
And Bob Yerkes, who is well known to us here, his troupe of acrobats are performing on the float. My goodness.
The lady has no net.
That's right. Carnation wins trophies. They did it last year. They've done it again. Ben Lovejoy designed it for them for festival artists. Well done.
Wow. It's nice to welcome back Benny Martinez Jr. from Mira Loma, California. These are the Mexican charros. And if you notice that they're riding their authentic Mexican saddles, too. This family rides in 8 parades each year, and Benny plans on resuming his trick roping shows in '89. Benny and his brother Octavio learned to trick rope and ride from their father, Benny Martinez Sr. It's nice to take a look at the Mexican cowboy from the Martinez family, the charros.
Hi there, folks. I'm Stephanie Edwards with Bob Eubanks. We're having a whale of a good time here at the 100th Tournament of Roses Parade. We hope you're enjoying yourself, too.
Keep smiling, everybody.
This is the Tournament of Roses 100th anniversary wish from the Bakery, Confectionery, and Tobacco Workers Union. 2 bakers carrying donuts, cupcakes, and goodies for the celebration. And on board, the queen of the Kentucky Derby Festival, Christina Lynn Levy.
Stephanie, let me give you some unknown facts you didn't know. You know the average American consumes 11 pounds of cookies a year, 8 pounds of crackers, 2 pounds of pie, and I think I consumed all of that during the holiday season.
A few last night for me, I'll tell you.
From nearby Arcadia, the Arcadia High School Apache Marching Band.
Well, Arcadia didn't have to come far, but their high school Apache marching band is terrific, and they've been working out just as hard as the rest of them.
Under the direction of Tom Landis, their assistant Tom Forbes. They're from Arcadia, California, just down the road.
And appropriately, they are right ahead of the Arcadia Tournament of Roses Association float called Happy New Year, with a top hat and cane, white gloves, and a non-alcoholic beverage. Aboard Miss Arcadia, Rosanna Spata, riding with her dad. And her court is there, and inside a giant bubble machine. We think maybe borrowed from Lawrence. Well,
no.
Yeah.
Here's the National Park Service Equestrian Group.
They're representing the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreational Area and Yosemite National Park, and you know what a work these people do. They have saved lives.
The winner of the anniversary trophy, Best Presentation of Life in the United States of America, the United Auto Workers Union and General Motors Corporation team up to sponsor Celebrating Teamwork and Technology. Now, 3 wheels define the 3 eras of modern transportation: the wagon wheel, the gear, and the space station. Now, there's 3 jets in front, a satellite helicopter, automobile, steam engine, and Conestoga wagon on this float. The first entry from these sponsors, and it's a dream of the labor team and the management at the GM Van Nuys plant. They also decorated the float, too. The chassis of this float, by the way, is from GM Motorhome, and it uses a GM engine naturally to turn things. And we want to congratulate them because it won the anniversary trophy for Best Presentation of Life in the United States of America, celebrating teamwork and technology.
You know, that's very impressive. That float is just impressive, and the attitude behind it is, too. Now, how about some bowling? They love it. This is from Dr. Pepper and 7-Up. Let the good times roll. The bowler rocks back. He sends the ball on its way. The ball hits the head pin. The pins fall down. The scorer's arms go up. You've got a winner.
Every time.
The ball travels down the alley once every 30 seconds or so. The guy never misses. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. And now from beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, the Kamehameha School's Warrior Marching Band.
This is the second time from the Kamehameha School's Warrior Marching Band. They've recently completed a tour of Europe, and they perform in several bowl parades around the country. John Riggle is their director, And the drum major you just saw is Tim Ho. They are playing, of course, Aloha Oi. And you know how they raise money to get here? With a pig sale, a lau-lau sale, food served at luau's, and a jogathon.
Beats selling 30,000 hoagies, I guess.
Ooh, I think they're playing the theme from the movie, Hawaii. Gosh, I know a lot. I know a lot, don't I, Bob?
I'm amazed.
Yep.
I am just amazed.
Yep.
Home Savings of America's first float ever in the Rose Parade is Holiday Housewarming. A family in 1889 celebrating the holidays in their new two-story Victorian home. There are ice skaters on a frozen pond. That's real ice, by the way. Horse-drawn carriages and a very special rider. You see that lady?
Oh.
That's Lottie Hicks of Alhambra. Lottie will be 104 years old on January the 30th. The one thing she wanted to do was ride in the Rose Parade, and her wish has been granted with the help of the American Centenarian Committee. The ice rink contains 2 tons of real ice, and the skaters are 3 young people who hope someday to be in the Winter Olympics. Home Savings is also celebrating its 100th birthday this year, and happy birthday to Lottie Hicks. She's going to be 104 years old.
You may wonder who is with her. The fellow sitting with her is in charge of the American Centenary Society. He's young, but he does a lot of work for the geriatric community, and he loves them, you can tell.
Bless her heart. From D.O. Rogers of Nuevo, California. Those are those beautiful Edward Boland saddles that all of our silver mounted people ride. Edward Boland started building saddles about 60 years ago, and he built them for all the cowboy stars such as Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and Hopalong Cassidy. Gorgeous silver-mounted horses from D.O. Rogers, his Western group.
This has won the Princess Trophy, I moved my microphone, from International House of Pancakes, the most beautiful float under 35 feet in length. A roaring celebration. Giant lion crowd growls a New Year's greeting to honor the 100th Rose Parade and the House of Pancakes' 30th birthday. Raising his head 30 feet in the air, listen to it.
A lot of sound this year.
The young people riding the lion's back are 6th graders, participants in the LA Unified School District's drug abuse resistance education program called DARE. This is gorgeous. Raul Rodriguez did it. The lion is made of gold and bronze cut straw flower, orange roses on the mane, dark orange carnations. Ooh, it's a wonderful sound.
A roaring celebration. Marshal Stanley E. Morris of Arlington, Virginia, is the marshal of this unit representing the U.S. Marshals Posse. And this year, the U.S. Marshals celebrate their 200th anniversary. The first 13 U.S. Marshals were appointed by President George Washington. And today's marshals and their deputies secure federal courts, track down and arrest fugitives, transport prisoners, and they also manage millions of dollars in assets seized from criminals. From the United States Marshals.
This comes to us from First Interstate Bank. Let the celebration begin. The history-making floats continue. This one carries more riders than any other in the history of the parade, 69.
The Center Theater Group, Mark Taper Forum, and the Armisen Theater. Then the second part features 40 members of the Los Angeles Philharmonic, conducted by 27-year-old David Allen Miller. He's the assistant conductor of the Philharmonic, and they're playing Beethoven's Ode to Joy from his Symphony No. 9.
And the third part holds 20 members of the LA Master Chorale in front of the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion.
And now, the composite United States Marine Corps Marching Band. Golden State Foods presents Here Comes the Circus. In front are 3 elephants, followed by 3 circus wagons. And riding along are 9 young people who have battled cancer at the Ronald McDonald House, and how happy we are that they can be with us today. In front of this magnificent float, 8,000-pound Ty, the elephant, 7,600-pound Sid, and 1,200-pound Baby Bo.
This is from Portland's Rose Festival. Let's celebrate the 71st year the folks from Portland have appeared in our parade, and this year they send a giant trumpeter and swirling fireworks. The Rose Festival queen there, Kelly Manning, is on board. It's held from mid-May to mid-June, second in size to this parade, and they celebrated their 100th anniversary of the Portland Rose Society recently. That's a 30-foot-long trumpet there.
Let's celebrate from the Portland Rose Festival Association. Look at here, Steph.
Ooh. Oh. Okay, this is
Superman.
entry.
Is that a bird?
No, but he got away
Is it a
and
plane?
floated 60 miles a little while ago. This, of course, is Superman, whom they found up against a mountainside not long ago. He's filled with helium.
Well, they tested him. Let's explain. They tested him down in San Diego, and he got loose, and he flew 64 miles, and they found him against a mountain.
He's 54 feet long, though, and in good repair. He soars to 100 feet in the air through the stars and the planets here.
By the way, when he got loose, he flew an altitude of 7,000 feet before coming down. But no problem today. Today he's controlled by 25 members of the UCLA women's crew team.
Now, that balloon is decorated with all dry materials. Fresh flowers, you see, would hinder the balloon's ability to float in the air, so they were allowed to use dry material there. Superman, of course, originally created in 1937, and we've all had a lot of mileage from him.
Once again, this is the first helium balloon ever to be in the Rose Parade, and naturally one of the stipulations is that you have to cover it with a live material, and that's what they've done with Superman here.
Bran and cornmeal on his face and hands was there. The flag has 15,000 red carnations, 15,000 heads of blue ribbon iris, ground sweet rice to the max. Auburn, Washington has sent us the Auburn High School Marching Trojan Band. Have you noticed how many bands call themselves the Trojan Marching Band?
Hey, this is a good year, isn't it?
This is a good one, and Auburn, Washington does that too.
Under the direction of their principal, Archie McCallum, who is also marching with the band. This is the 11th Rose Parade March for their director, Dean Emmel. He appeared 3 times as a member of the Toppers Band, 6 times as director of the Mount Monroe High School Band, and now twice for the Auburn Band. They're from Auburn, Washington. The Auburn, Washington Trojan Marching Band.
Most of the bands who do this parade, you know, march an average of 7 miles every day in preparation. Some of them, of course, are used to each other. They march all the time together, but they're not used to marching as rigorous a parade route as this one. Oh, the crowd is getting rambunctious. Ann L. Hoffman is the marshal of this group. They are reserve sheriff's deputies. They're subject to call by the Sacramento Sheriff's Department in time of need or disaster. Most of them have been through the department's course on weapons control, search, and seizure. They're a non-profit group. Funds are raised through horse shows, dinners, garage sales, auctions. These women are smart cookies, I must say. They were established in 1945.
A favorite always in this parade, the McDonald's All-American High School Band.
Oh, they are so good. Their female drum major is no nonsense, I'll tell you.
104 members strong. McDonald's also sponsors an all-American jazz band comprised of 20 musicians from the 104-member marching band. The All-American Band was created back in 1967.
But presumably for the best floral presentation, that would be Florist Trans World. Now we're just going to double, triple check. Yippee!
It is! The winner of the President's Trophy Best Floral Presentation. This is the 100th Rose Parade, and appropriately, Florist Trans World Delivery Association brings us 100 years of flowers on parade. A turn-of-the-century fruit vendor's cart is being drawn by 2 hackney ponies, and in front is a floral delivery cart. Now, the horse-drawn buggy is similar to the very first Rose Parade floats 100 years ago. And aboard the float is Carrie Hipkiss. She's age 11 of El Verno, California. There she is. Who won a flower design contest for elementary school kids held by FTD. This is one of the floats that was also badly damaged in the windstorm, but it looks just beautiful today.
Now coming to us from Poway, California, the Poway High School Emerald Brigade Band. This is the largest marching band in California, the largest marching band in this state. More than 10% of the school student body is involved in this band. They have a pretty classy way of turning the corner. Look at it.
At least they're turning the corner.
Yes, really. Director Mark Davis has this group tightly under tow. And I think you may also see that a band member named Jeremy Gilbert, who suffers from spina bifida, is traveling along with this band. He is not stopped. Well, you know, it could be worse, as it was in 1899, when a rainstorm was so heavy, there's that sweet fella, that the Rose Parade was delayed until 3:45 p.m. It was the second of 9 times that it rained on this parade, but it's never been canceled due to rain.
One time they actually started at 3:45, is that what you said?
Yep.
Wow. Olympic champion Rafer Johnson is the marshal of this very special equestrian group from the American Riding Club for the Handicapped. This group is comprised of riders with varying disabilities. Lorraine Kaiser, who is riding in this group, is an equestrian coach for the Special Olympics in Orange County. And the group appears in 15 parades in Southern California each year and was recently named Southern California Junior Champion by the Southern California Parade Association. Our hats off to their Marshal Rafer Johnson for bringing us this very wonderful and very special group of riders to help us celebrate this our 100th Tournament of Roses Parade. There's Rafer. Olympic athlete, supreme. Human being, too. Really a nice man. From the American Riding Club for the Handicapped.
A group of 5 circus bears celebrate 100 years of Rose Parades as Security Pacific National Bank wishes everyone a very happy birthday. Get it?
I got it. Along with the bears, the acrobats, the trapeze artists, we also have a tightrope walker. The first one ever in the Rose Parade. He's Gene Mendez, who is 21 feet up and uses no net.
Oh.
I was wondering earlier, I wonder if he realizes, and I'm sure he does, that there is a hill that he has to go down right now.
Yeah, somebody slipped him the word.
Let's see if he's going to walk the rope for us.
My knees are feeling funny.
Come on, Gene. You can do it. There he goes. We also can see a poodle pushing a birthday cake around the rim of the float.
And there's a girl twirling up there. Good grief.
Oh, look out now.
Oh, mercy. Oh, I'm just dizzy and messed up.
A lot of human animation in the float this year.
Oh.
Skiers to tightrope walkers, acrobats.
The bear is 30 feet tall. Wonderfully done. They're all under the direction of Bob Yerkes, too, those wonderful stunt folks. 40,000 whole white carnations. Now, this band that you just caught a glimpse of, I think, is from Porterville, California, the Porterville High School Panther Band. still a marvelous parade. Of course, it is what gives folks nightmares. It's just all out of order, but you don't care, do you, folks? And neither do we. It's so marvelous, we don't care who comes down the street. Our producer-writer, Joel Tater, is probably ripping what little hair he has left out of his head, but he's okay.
Hey, behind this band, though, I want to introduce you to a very special group of our first Americans, the United Delegation of Apache Indians. Their marshal is Reno Johnson, who is a White Mountain Apache from Arizona. Each one of the riders is a head of a sovereign Apache nation. And one of the riders, Mildred Cleghorn, she's right there, second from the bottom of your screen. There's Mildred right there in the green dress. She's the chairperson of the Fort Sill Apaches. She's one of the 12 living members of Geronimo's group who were held prisoner at Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Wow.
What a treat for us to see the members of the United Delegation of Apache Chiefs.
You met her yesterday, didn't
you? Yes. Oh, here comes our problem.
Oh, yippee. Now, this is the judge's special trophy winner for the most whimsical entry. It's worth waiting for. Bubbles celebrates New Year's from Baskin-Robbins ice cream. The Happy Hippo. Those are the cutest ears I think I've ever seen. Now listen, there are 10 people in this float, 8 of them blowing up helium balloons, and there's an observer and a driver. They are going to release 1 million bubbles as they now come down the parade route. 10 people inside that float. Her waist size is 720 inches, and she weighs 31,000 pounds.
The bubbles coming out.
95,000 pink carnations. Well, she's so precious.
95,000 pink carnations?
Precisely.
Wow.
She has the most beatific look on her face.
I've always said that. And now the Director's Trophy, Excellence of Craftsmanship from Bank of America, Protected for the Future, a celebration of life. This float depicts animals who were once threatened and endangered and now are on the comeback trail, thankfully. Starting with the eagle, the tiger, the otter, and the polar bear. 32 feet in the air. How about that?
You know, the good news about this is that the world's sea otter population is increasing, but the bald eagle, our national symbol, is still an endangered species. These animals are covered with a special fabric and foam, flexible skin. It allows them to move in a lifelike manner. The Director's Trophy for Excellence of Craftsmanship. Ben Lovejoy, a festival artist, did it. It's just a beauty. 3,000 stems of Oncidium orchids alone are in this float. The polar bear of pampas grass and raw cotton.
Well, Richard Sacco is usually the leader of this White Horse group, but he's riding today with the USC band, and I'm sure you'll recognize Sacco as the well-known USC football mascot Tommy Trojan. But his wife, Patricia, is leading this group of beautifully attired white horses, white horse lovers. Oh, look here. This is the winner of the Animation Trophy, Best Display of Animation. And it comes to us from Transamerica Life Companies. It's called A Halloween Trick or Treat.
The Halloweeners are shaking with fear, I'm quite certain.
There he is.
Oh.
Aboard this float are Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's Bride. Floatmaster's done a wonderful job with this Raul Rodriguez design. And Frankenstein himself is 42 feet high and is covered with everything from cornmeal and several kinds of moss and strawberry powder. A state-of-the-art fog machine and delivery system was specially designed to create the vapor effects in the laboratory.
Oof. Gee, they're effective. And they're doing the Monster Mash. So he does lie down and sit up, is that right? Have we seen him lie down?
Well, we haven't seen him do that yet, but we were told he was going to actually lie down. There he goes, he's going to lie down now. And then he will sit up. The best display of animation, the Animation Trophy. From Transamerica Life Companies. It's called A Halloween Trick or Treat. And up he comes.
Oh, everything's clicking. Fabulous. And right behind it, another trophy winner, the best characterization of the romance of California from the city of Beverly Hills. A celebration of style, a triple celebration actually. It's the 100th Rose Parade, it's the 75th anniversary of Beverly Hills, and it's New Year's, of course. The anniversary waltz plays, 5 elegant couples, 13 feet tall, are dancing the night away. The women there, the live women, are wearing gowns by designers Adolfo Ruben Panis, Bob Mackey, and Fred Heyman of Giorgio in Beverly Hills might be seen there. The mayor of Beverly Hills is on the float, Robert Tannenbaum, with his wife and representatives of countries that are participating in the Beverly Hills 75th anniversary as a city. It is the Pioneers Trophy winner for Best Characterization of the Romance of California. And you don't hear the music, I think, from the float because there's a band too close behind it.
And that band is the Mountain View High School Spartan Marching Band from Mountain View, California. 180 members strong, the Mountain View High School Spartan Marching Band under the direction of Robin K. Kramer.
Couples to dance to this music. Here you see the Bill Stack Altadena Arabian group. They are riding Arabians and they're dressed that way. They wear reproductions of authentic Arabian costumes and they are riding purebreds. How beautiful. Marshal Bill Stack has appeared in every Rose Parade since 1956 and has accumulated more than 450 awards for one reason or another. The Altadena Arabian group with Bill Stack as its marshal. Debbie Gill of Harbor City, I think, is who you just saw there.
Lovely Arabian horses, supposed to be one of the smartest horses in the world. As we mentioned earlier, it was the first horse ever. All other horse breeds come from the Arabians. Versatile little horse, you can do almost anything on it. Rand McNally and Company's float Freedom Ride is lucky to be here at all. It was severely damaged. It just had a rough time in the December 8th windstorm, but it made it through just as Paul Revere did on his historic midnight ride in 1775 through the town of Concord, Massachusetts, when he warned the British are coming. Now, the church steeple on this float is 31 feet tall and is covered with white mums, lettuce seed, and silverleaf. And you can see the water wheel spins. There's 3-inch pieces of plastic on rods in the water area. See how it gives that appearance of water?
Rand McNally has often won awards in this parade, and this one would generally win an award too. It is magnificent.
The trees on the float are covered with 43,000 Oncidium orchids. Paul Revere regularly delivered messages to the Boston Patriots, and in 1774 he was designated an official courier to the Continental Congress. Rand McNally and Company reminds us of his famous Freedom Ride, and that's the time of the float.
Okay, this is called Singin' in the Rain. Of course. It's a family of duck-billed platypuses floating down Colorado Boulevard from Kiwanis International. They are not ducks, they're platypuses, which is a whole different animal. In case you're wondering, it's rained but 9 times on this parade, so they're pushing it a little. The children are those, many of whom are looking for a loving home through the Los Angeles County Department of Adoptions. Can you believe that? These precious little folks in yellow slickers need a home. So the message of this float is, for kids of all ages, even if it's raining, we're going to hope that there will be plenty to smile about.
There's the most interesting equestrian group in the parade, as far as I'm concerned. These are the little Basker curly horses led by Norman Dills from Winnemucca, Nevada. And these horses are a rare and ancient breed depicted in early Chinese art and then raised in Russia's Ural Mountains for centuries. They were first discovered in America in 1898 when a group of curly-haired horses was found in central Nevada. Today there are fewer than 800 of these little guys in North and South America. And the people of Russia really took advantage of this breed. They used them for riding, for work. They drank their milk. They used their hides for clothing and protection. And in fact, the hats, the scarves, and the jackets on our riders are made from horses' hair, which is shed in the summertime. Once again, We thank their marshal for bringing us these American Bashkir curly horses. I think they're so interesting.
Gee, they're just precious animals. Some more covered than others.
Curly little guys.
Now this is entitled We Love a Parade from the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks. We sit right above their parking lot here. They're echoing the thoughts that we carry with their I Love a Parade idea. It's a two-parter. In front, a marching band, followed then by an old-fashioned calliope. Isn't that a sweetie? The Elks are the oldest and largest fraternal organization in America, established in 1868, 1.5 million strong now. Now, there's an interesting sidebar to this. This is a mythical band directed by Harry L. Dinkle. And those of you who watch the comic strip Funky Winkerbean know that this is a band called the Marching Scapegoats that is in that comic strip. Very popular, I guess, among some of our Valley newspaper readers here. And this is its...
is that Funky?
That is the director, Harry L. Dinkle. Of course, he's actually an actor whose name is Ron Hoare. He is portraying the rather befuddled director of this band that you've been seeing in the Funky Winkerbean comic strip now for a long while.
Funky Winkerbean.
They don't play very loudly, you see.
And next, from the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, their entry, America, celebrating 500 years of discovery. Christopher Columbus's ship, the Santa Maria, lands in the New World. Behind the ship is a tropical island with Amazon parrots. And aboard the float is Miss Puerto Rico and Miss Carnival Queen. Actually, the celebration is a bit early. The 500th anniversary of Columbus's landing in Puerto Rico will be in 1993, but you know, why quibble? Also, the real name of the Santa Maria was the La Galicia. Getting back to the float, though, there's a wind machine inside to move the costumes of the riders. The ship rocks back and forth, and we can hear thunder as it goes by. And incidentally, when Columbus landed, he named the island San Juan and the port Puerto Rico, but through the years, they've become interchanged. So it's called America, celebrating 500 years of our discovery from Puerto Rico.
Isn't it beautiful? The sails are made of corn husk and statice. The birds of moss and orchids and lemon leaves. It must smell pretty good. It's got cinnamon sticks on it, and lots of crushed and whole walnut shells, maple leaves. This is the city of Torrance.
Oh, hello, Torrance.
Yep, we've got their float called Auld Lang Syne. That's where the clock is ticking from. Torrance shows us a 1989 baby in front with Father Time in the back and a century clock in the middle saying Auld Lang Syne to the old and on with the new.
All around the bottom of the float are photographs of past rose parades. And also there's something that depicts chariot races from the 1900s here in Pasadena. There, you see that? They originally had chariot races, but too many people got hurt, so they decided to go to a more sedentary sport, football.
Yeah, truly.
Auld Lang Syne from the city of Torrance, California. Now we're going to celebrate the big win, you guys.
Yes, this is our friends down the street, the South Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association. A fish who's been hooked by a fisherman who may be in over his head.
Like we are.
The fish's head. Built and decorated by volunteers from the city of South Pasadena and financed by donations from the community. 24,000 residents of that little city. It's been in the parade since 1909, and as you might have determined, this is the last entry in the parade. People already flooding out behind it. Magnificent use of chrysanthemums there, lavender and purple ones, lots of purple dendrobia orchids, with white mums in the whites of the eyes and iris in the blue. The lips, could you not have guessed, are of pink carnation, and the teeth are of white rice. It's a very sweet little piece to end this rather confused but beautiful parade.
These are things that didn't happen, folks, right here. I want to say that the Slice people, though, the winners of the Grand Marshal's Trophy for Most Creative Design, didn't make it through the parade today, but the float will be available for viewing later on, as all of the floats will be. Wow!
It was
fun,
a doozy.
Yeah.
And we knew as we were thinking about this, because there were so many firsts, the tallest, the longest, and many other gigantic efforts that they were going to make, that the possibility was great, that perhaps there would be a few fallouts. In spite of it all, it's been one of the most glorious of the parades. The weather has been ideal. We trust it will be for the game, and we've had a marvelous time. We hope you did too.
Our thanks to Marilyn Jones, to Diane Rumbaugh, to Rob Fiedler, our director, to Joe Quasarano, our executive producer, Joel Tater, our new producer. It's been a wonderful day. We hope you have a very, very happy New Year. We had a good time. We hope you did too.
We hope you'll be back for the 101st. We plan to be here.